Let us start with a short apology first. Yesterday, if you saw the dugout, we were quite, what can you say? We were quite disrespectful towards Bangladesh, so to say. We took them pretty lightly. I guess even the cricket team today on field took them kind of very lightly, very easily, Sahil. In the end, we all saw what happened out there. India managed to just manage to scrap home, and unless if Dhoni didn't sprint that one, I mean, we would have been out of the tournament. I guess the sprint kept us alive there.
Yeah.
It was a crazy match, nerve-wracking final moments. Sahil, just make sense of it all that happened right for us.
I think no one can make sense of what unfolded in those last 2 overs. So Jasprit Bumrah comes in, bowls a brilliant over. Ashish Nehra comes in, concedes 2 boundaries. The most experienced bowler in the ranks. Then he eats up Pandya's brain, giving up all the advice. I haven't seen Indian cricket team talk so much in the middle.
So much in the middle.
Even during the 2007 final against Pakistan, when the rookie Jogendra Sharma was bowling, I never saw Dhoni going up to him every ball. But today, it was crazy in the middle. Like Pandya was getting advice from Nehra, from Ashwin, Bumrah was coming in, Dhoni was excited, Kohli was.
Everyone was involved, and that's what made it very special. So is Pandya the new updated version of Jogendra Sharma there? I mean, he bowled a very mediocre first 3 balls, and somehow India managed to salvage the situation. Not to forget a great catch there in the deep, and Dhoni's presence of mind. Amidst all this, let us not forget the brilliant penultimate over bowled by Jasprit Bumrah. That kept us in after Nehra conceded those 2 boundaries in his over.
Mir, as we saw, Bumrah was having an awful game. At the start, he let one slip beneath his hands, boundary, then he dropped the sitter of Tamim Iqbal. So it wasn't a perfect day for Jasprit Bumrah, and we were thinking that it couldn't have been him with the ball and Dhoni could just go with Yuvraj Singh. But Dhoni, as you said the last time around, does what he does. So he gave the ball to Jasprit Bumrah, backed him to the hill to produce those Yorkers, and he did that effortlessly.
And he does that at will. I mean, he produces Yorkers at will. It's incredible talent that.
So I think, Malinga also debuted in the modern day so-called era, but I think he is developing into that modern day Malinga. With the consistency at which he's delivering those Yorkers, it's brilliant, and he's erring, his level of error is way too minimal. And as you talked about Hardik Pandya becoming the new Jogendra Sharma, I think he wouldn't even want that. He wouldn't want to become that, because he would want to play for a longer duration with the Indian cricket team. It was just a fascinating game, towards the end, it just edge of the seat contest. It was like Shahid Afridi batting and someone like Ashwin bowling, and Afridi hits over a couple of sixes.
But then if we just step back and look at the overall cricketing scenario, Bangladesh were calm, were composed throughout the match, barring those 3 balls. And it seems to have cost them. I mean, all they needed were a simple tap or 2 and just sprint for a couple of singles. Instead, they go for big runs, big hits, and they lost the plot there, didn't they?
I think they did not panic throughout the game. They were very stable. They were approaching the chase in clinical fashion, because there were wickets tumbling. Ashwin was bowling a dream spell at the start. But then Shakib, Tamim, they used to get that release shot effortlessly. Someone like an Ashwin would bowl a wicket maiden or say concede just 2. Next ball, Jadeja would come in and Shakib would sweep him all the way for a 6. So they were doing it in clinical fashion until the last over. Because last over, they actually self-destructed there. You got 2 boundaries early, so it was needless for Mushfiqur Rahim. So Mushfiqur Rahim to do what he did, and then again Mahmudullah, he did all the hard work getting Bangladesh so close. Like they were almost near the finishing line before they slipped.
And I guess the reaction of both these batsmen, Mahmudullah was reluctant to step off the field because he was so distraught. It says a lot. Perhaps that's where inexperience shows of playing big matches. Perhaps they have plenty of matches under their belt. But these scenarios, and that's where a cool head like Dhoni's or Kohli's and Rohit Sharma's, they count perhaps.
But I think there is no excuse for what Bangladesh did today. It was their game to lose right from the say 12th or 13th over. The equation was pretty much under their control. They had wickets under their belt, and Bangladesh bat deep. We saw, till that new guy Shuvagata Home came in, and Shuvagata Home has got this reputation to strike a few. He played up the order against Australia as well. So it was always going to be their game to lose, and credit to India for holding their nerves, because they did not have many runs to play with, and the way they were towards the end, the whole group just came together. It was good energy on the field, and I'm sure this would do world.
I would really not agree with the good energy bit where you said on field, because there are two aspects. We'll come to the other one later. First is India's fielding. We dropped plenty of catches today. And apart from those last few moments where we really picked up, we weren't really up there. It seems that the team was still not up for the game.
You know, Meera, I'll just pick your line from the last dugout where you just talked about champions instinct from New Zealand, where, you know, good teams just pick up when they err and then they make up in grand fashion. I think it'll be an overstated statement to make that India, you know, made up for what they did in the first 10 overs. It is not to be, but yes, they did pick themselves up and they did what was required in this chase. Early on, they were guilty. You know, Dhoni would have wanted a couple of tight overs from both the ends, because 7.5 runs an over, you know, it's not difficult to chase in Bangalore because boundaries are really short.
But then when India batted, it did look a very 130-ish, 140-ish pitch. You know, the ball was coming on slowly. We weren't able to get those runs boundaries frequently. Was it that bad, or it was just a case of poor shot selection again?
It can be, you know, you can call this not a good T20 wicket because it was a turner, but it was a slow turner. So when the ball turns and it turns slowly, it becomes very difficult to hit through the line of the ball. And even going against the turn is a very fancy dream on wickets like these. And when India started, you know, that's a problem which we might face later in the tournament if we go that far, you know, because Shikhar Dhawan and Rohit Sharma are struggling.
And when that is a big problem.
And when those two struggle, your power play are more or less gone. You know, you can't capitalize on the first 6 overs, and we saw it yesterday in the New Zealand-Pakistan game. Both the teams milked the power play overs, and so Bangladesh also to a certain extent did that today. So India really need to sort their act right at the top of the order, because you need runs in the first 6 overs.
Especially when you see that the next match against Australia might be the decider in a way. So let's get the scenario straight here. If Pakistan beat Australia, I guess they'll be in a prime position there because their net run rate is much higher. If Australia wins, then I guess it will be a winner takes all on Sunday. So in that sense, this win today keeps us in contention. But still things look very, very tough for us.
See, it is the group of death, you know. That's how things unfold in groups like this. You just can't afford a complacent step, and that's what New Zealand did not do in the tournament so far. Or have not done in the tournament. We still need to see what they do in their last game. But having said that, you know, India-Australia, it's going to be a winner takes all.
Of course.
India shouldn't be much worried about what happens come tomorrow, because they still have, you know,
they have to win.
They have an opportunity to do, and they have the bat and ball in hand. So unlike most teams in the group of death, they are still not up to permutations and combinations. So it's still very much under their control, and they still can pull it off if they play to their potential.
Right. So after today's match, what are the lessons learned?
I think lessons learned are pretty simple. You know, Jasprit Bumrah is a death bowler, so Dhoni can very well fancy, you know, keeping his probably all 4 overs for the death overs. You know, you can sneak in a Nehra in the first 4 overs because Nehra struggled in the last overs. So Nehra could be your option to just give him that little burst at the top, probably split him into a 3-1 spell or a 2-2 spell, so that he can give you wicket up front. And Ashwin has been bowling beautifully in the power play. So if Ashwin and Nehra can strike a good combination at top, Bumrah can be your bowler. And you know, if Bumrah bowls the way he did today, his 4 overs, 25 runs at that could be a golden thing for us.
That's a very interesting observation, Sahil. We'll see how the team recovers from this close defeat. Like Ashwin said, he just wanted to collapse in his room and sleep for a while. That's how stressful the match was. It was stressful, I'm sure, for all of you watching as well. For us, obviously in the office, it was quite stressful. It was like a stadium here. But in the end, all's well that ends well. India have won the match today. They are firmly in contention for the semi-final spot. Whether they can make it to the last 4, we'll have to wait and watch for the match on Sunday against Australia. Till then, keep watching the dugout.